Good evening. Happiness is not about getting all you want. It's about enjoying all you have. Welcome to BMC News Live presented by Al Hilal Hospitals and Medical Centers. I'm Jasila Mujib joining you with the daily news updates. News headlines. His Majesty the King received the late serviceman's family. The Education Minister attended the opening of the International Conference and Exhibition for Educational Supplies and Solutions. The Housing Minister participated in the GCC Housing Ministers' discussion. The first strategic dialogue between Bahrain and the UK launched. Women Health Summit to be held under the patronage of Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa. News in detail. His Majesty the King received the late serviceman's family. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, received at the Safriya Palace the family of the fallen serviceman Major Muhammad Salam Muhammad Anbar from the Bahrain Defence Forces Task Force, who lost his life while undertaking his patriotic duties within the Arab coalition forces stationed along the southern borders of Saudi Arabia as part of the Operation Decisive Storm and Operation Restoring Hope. His Majesty the King offered deepest condolences to the late serviceman's family, praying to Allah the Almighty to rest the soul of the deceased in eternal peace and to bless his relatives with patience and fortitude. His Majesty King Hamad affirmed that the kingdom's fallen servicemen had set the best examples of courage and bravery, and therefore their sacrifices will remain engraved in the national memory as they represent a source of inspiration for their patriotism and valor. The Education Minister attended the opening of the International Conference and Exhibition for Educational Supplies and Solutions. Dr. Muhammad bin Mubarak Juma, Education Minister, attended the opening of the International Conference and Exhibition for Educational Supplies and Solutions in Dubai. The Minister affirmed the importance of Bahrain's participation in this annual event due to its importance in learning about the latest global trends and developments in education and solutions in terms of utilizing modern technologies and artificial intelligence to develop education and its outcomes. Bahrain's pavilion at GESS received a large turnout from the exhibition visitors. It focused on highlighting the UNESCO King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa Prize for the use of ICT in education. The Housing Minister participated in the GCC Housing Ministers' discussion. Amna bint Ahmad Al Rumaihi, Minister of Housing and Urban Planning, participated in a panel discussion for the Housing Ministers of the Gulf Cooperation Council. The session was hosted as part of the activities of the first Gulf Housing Week on the sidelines of the 21st meeting of GCC officials responsible for housing. The session discussed the latest developments in housing policies and plans within the GCC. The first strategic dialogue between Bahrain and the UK launched. Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, held a meeting with Lord Tariq Ahmed, Minister of State for the Middle East, North Africa, South Asia and United Nations at the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office of the United Kingdom. Dr. Al Zayani is on a visit to London to attend the first strategic dialogue between the Kingdom of Bahrain and the United Kingdom. The meeting between the two ministers discussed the friendship and partnership between Bahrain and the UK and means of further developing bilateral cooperation in political, economic, trade, investment and social aspects to serve the interests of the two countries. Women Health Summit to be held under the patronage of Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa. Under the patronage of Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, wife of His Majesty the King and President of the Supreme Council for Women, the Royal Medical Services will organize the Women's Health Summit from 4th to 5th December, coinciding with Bahrain Women's Day 2023. The summit is organized by various partners including the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Interior, the Government Hospitals Administration, Healthcare Centres, the National Health Regulatory Authority NHRA, the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, the Arabian Gulf University and Bahrain Medical Society. The Women Health Summit brings together various stakeholders to discuss and promote women's health, well-being and quality of life. It encourages knowledge exchange, highlights progress towards achieving sustainable development goals, and advocates for a collaborative approach to improve women's health. Bahraini-Indian cooperation in environment and the climate change discussed. Dr. Mohammed bin Mubarak bin Daina, Minister of Oil and Environment, Special Envoy for Climate Affairs, met here Leena Nandan, the Secretary at the Indian Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, on the sidelines of their participation in the pre-ministerial conference of the 28th Conference of Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. The minister lauded the deep-rooted good Bahraini-Indian relations, praising the two countries' distinguished cooperation in many fields including the environment and climate change. The two sides discussed a number of issues of mutual interest, particularly cooperation in the fields of environmental protection, climate change, combating desertification, and achieving sustainable development goals. Now it's time for a short commercial break.
The 16th branch of Megamart and Macromart supermarkets in Bahrain has opened in Sahala. The best offers are available to the customers at affordable rates. Everyone is welcome. During and around the opening day, a variety of fish including salmon, meat and dairy products, roastery, frozen items, food and non-food items, groceries, fruits and vegetables, electronics, garments and ready-to-eat food items are available to the customers at affordable rates. Hearty welcome to all. Megamart and Macromart, your favorite shopping destination.
Welcome back. LMRA conducted 2 inspection campaigns in the capital and the northern governorates. The Labour Market Regulatory Authority, LMRA, in coordination with government agencies, continues to intensify joint efforts to activate regulatory tools to address illegal practices in the labour market, to ensure justice and stability, enhance performance and address the phenomenon of irregular employment. The authority announced the implementation of 2 inspection campaigns which resulted in the observing of a range of violations related to the provisions of a number of regulating laws, especially the Labour Market Regulatory Authority law and the Residence law in the Kingdom of Bahrain, noting that legal measures will be taken regarding the observed violations. The authority pointed out that a joint inspection campaign was carried out in the Capital Governorate in partnership with the Ministry of Labour. The Secretary General for Supreme Council for Youth and Sports awarded Lamia graduates. Ayman bin Tawfiq Al-Muayyad, Secretary General of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, honored 5 distinguished graduates of the national program Lamia in the presence of Rawan bint Najib Tawfiqi, the Minister of Youth Affairs. Graduates Fatima Al-Bastaki, Bazam Al-Tatan, Aisha Al-Khaoud, Sana Mayuf and Fatima Al-Majid were honored for their efforts and contributions in achieving a number of distinguished projects. Al-Muayyad said that the Lamia graduates can drive achievements, success and progress by contributing to shaping Bahrain's future. FIFA. Saudi Arabia is the only bidder for hosting 2034 FIFA World Cup. The International Federation of Association Football, FIFA, announced that Saudi Arabia is the only country that has filed a bid to host the 2034 World Cup. In a statement which referred to the regulations approved by the FIFA Council, the football organizing body stated that the International Federation's administration will launch the nomination process to host the 2030 and 2034 editions of the World Cup, in addition to an evaluation process for the nomination files, so that the organizing countries are expected to be unveiled during the FIFA conference to be held by the 4th quarter of 2024. Around 7 million people have been displaced in Congo's growing conflict, UN reports. A record of 6.9 million people have been displaced by conflict across Congo, the United Nations Migration Agency said, making it one of the world's largest displacement and humanitarian crises. At least 80% of the displaced people live in eastern Congo's provinces of North Kivu, South Kivu, Ituri and Tanganyika, which have long been overrun by dozens of armed groups seeking a share of the region's gold and other resources, the Associated Press reported. More than 2/3 of those displaced, nearly 4.8 million people, live with host families, further squeezing already impoverished communities. The UN peacekeeping mission also has faced pressure to withdraw from Congo after more than 2 decades in the country. News from India. Dense haze covers Delhi as air quality remains very poor for the 4th day. Haze enveloped Delhi and its suburbs, with the capital recording very poor air quality for the 4th day. According to a numerical model-based system developed by the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology in Pune, vehicular emissions and stubble burning currently stand as the 2 major contributions to the city's air quality. The air quality index in the national capital was recorded at 336 on Wednesday morning, bringing the air quality under the very poor category for the 4th day in a row and the 3rd straight day this week. Meanwhile, morning walkers of the national capital said that breathing is not as easy as it used to be in the summer months. The air quality is expected to remain very poor for a few more days, according to the centre's air quality early warning system for Delhi. Delhi's air quality in October 2023 was the worst since 2020, with meteorologists attributing it to the lack of rainfall. With this, we come to the end of today's news. This is Jasila Mujib signing off. Good night.